there's a very clear difference between helping versus enabling, and we've had to learn that
the hard way
in a couple of different ways, specifically in our marriage. And we have one key thing where we'll share how we thought we were helping, but we were actually enabling. And it's the same thing, but from two different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought early on in our, specifically marriage, yeah, definitely early on in our relationship, making sure that Brienne had her thoughts and feelings, made sure they were seen, heard, valued, and understood. And oftentimes that meant just going with her way. So there's a decision to be made, big or small. If there was an idea or just a thought where it was either she had an opinion or I had an opinion, I found it easier oftentimes to go with her opinion, go with her decision. And it wasn't difficult to do because she does have a lot of great ideas.
Thank you.
She does make a lot of dope decisions.
Thank you.
But we're all flawed human beings.
This is true.
Which means just going with whatever she says all the time is not foolproof. It's not 100% guarantee that it's going to lead to the best outcome possible. And I think some of that was a holdover from stuff that I've seen in other marriages and other relationships around me, within my family, within family friends, where I would see the man not be as receptive or be dismissive of their spouse's thoughts, their wife's thoughts. And I remember when Brienne told me that one of her biggest pet peeves is feeling dismissed, feeling unheard, feeling like I was being considerate of her feelings. And that, I definitely overcorrected for it in ways that not just made her feel better, but also selfishly lighten the load, like very transparently lighten the load early on in our relationship.
What do you mean by lighten the load?
Lighten the load meaning I don't have to make the decision. I don't have to think as hard to get to the right thing because you already had it figured out. So if I bring something up, it's probably going to add
to the decision-making process.
I was going to say it's going to add conflict to the mix because there's a chance you would disagree with what I was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
But me thinking that helps is honestly enabling a counterproductive dynamic within our marriage because, one, it communicates a lack of leadership from my end. Two, it puts all the decision-making burden on Brienne. Three, when a decision that needs to be made and that actually needs to be a strong pool of ideas to work through, to clarify, where more perspectives will help versus less, that I need to be active. I need to be in that. I also need to bring decision-making power to the table so that she does not have to. Like, it's supposed to be a give and take. It's supposed to be serving areas where my spouse may be weak, where I'm strong, and vice versa. It's supposed to be a collaborative project, whether the decision is big or small. So I'll stop there.
Now, on the flip side of the coin, for me, when Darian was not leading and when he was more so just like taking the back seat with a lot of decisions that needed to be made, naturally I identified as the independent, strong Black woman who just figured things out. And so going back to the initial sentiment around thinking that you're helping when you're actually enabling unhealthy patterns, I like when something needed to get done, instead of allowing Darian to step into more of that leader and just like being a leader, but also being head of the household and also having autonomy. Like, instead of being like, hey, there's this really big thing, would love to discuss like how to go forward with it together, or can you take care of XYZ, I would just do everything. Not everything, that's a bit dramatic, but there's a lot of stuff that I would just be like, you know what, I can just take care of it, instead of asking for help and support and allowing him to actually have the space and capacity to lead. And oftentimes as women, we're like, oh, I want to have like soft life and I want to have a man who does lead. But for me, I had to look in the mirror and be like, are you actually giving him a chance? And for a while, especially before we got married, for a while, the answer was no. If I knew that something needed to get done and he'd be like, yeah, I'll get to it. And if it wasn't done within the time frame that I was hoping for it to be done, I would just be like, you know what, I'm going to take care of it. But that also sets a precedent that like, I'm always going to take care of things. And that, again, going back to an unhealthy pattern, like if you're continuing to show that it would be nice for you to help, but I'm going to take care of it regardless, then you're not actually providing your spouse with a partner, with a chance to partner with you, to collaborate and to lead. So that's been a big learning for me. It is still a work in progress. Darian is a lot more bold and direct now when he's like, what do you need me to do?
Actually, I'll say,
go sit down.
Shut up, sit down. I'm going to do this.
That's true.
Stop.
Yeah.
Put it down. No. Put it down. Because asking her, how can I help, still doesn't help.
Yeah, I think like maybe 2 weeks ago when you were still in Baltimore and you were like, how can I help? And I was like, I honestly don't have a question. I don't have an answer for you right now.
Because she still has the decision-making burden of delegating a specific task for me to do.
Yeah.
Which does not help, because that's still decision-making burden and still having to give me the quote-unquote the right thing that would be the most effective. In reality, as a spouse, as a active partner, I'm supposed to see the gap and just fill it. And then with enough vision and under the best circumstances, foresee a potential gap and fill that before it becomes a gap.
Mm-hmm.
And it does take a lot of energy. It does take a lot of attention to detail. It does take some sacrifice, just straight up and down. Even when I don't feel like doing the thing, I still gotta do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not about how I feel, it's about taking care of what needs to get taken care of. There's, yes, of course, mental health and well-being does play into making sure that I'm not overextending myself and that I'm not downplaying my feelings or just stuffing them into a bottle until that bottle explodes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between not wanting to do something versus not feeling like doing something versus not having the actual capacity to do something. When you just don't feel like it, but you have the capacity, just stop being lazy. Just take care of the thing. That's called procrastination. All right. And we actually did have a run-in with that 2 years ago.
That's why I literally had to just look down and be like,
yeah. And there was a lot of it was simply decisions / inaction from years ago came to a head yesterday. We were just dealing with the consequences of past actions or past inaction. My past inaction. So it was literally just a matter of time. It wasn't even like something that was grandiose or, oh my goodness, I can't believe this happened. It was like, no, it was just a matter of time before you had to deal with the consequences of your actions. So
I also think naturally, I know that naturally Darian is more go with the flow in life, and I am more, okay, what's our 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10-year plan? And so it has been an art trying to strike the balance where we're able to balance each other out in a way where he'll be like, all right, everything is not always on fire. Everything is not always urgent. And for me, I strike the balance where I'm like, yes, and everything cannot be put off for whenever it actually, like, it'll get done when it gets done. And so it has been a journey, and I think we are in a really good place now where whether it's my facial expressions, my bodily expressions, just like even just like my inflection points and how I talk, like Darian knows when I am at a point of overwhelm. But one thing that has helped a lot is open communication with like, all right, I'm at capacity, need you to lean in here. Or for him to already see what's going on and be like, I can already tell you're overwhelmed. I'm going to take care of XYZ and we're going to keep it pushing. So can't read minds, but you also over time, like we've been together for almost 10 years now, you get to know your person like the back of your hand. So
the micro expressions, the body language,
yeah,
the things unsaid but clear as day.
Yeah. So just pulse check. I think that's the big takeaway we want to share. Like pulse check with, are you actually being of service to your partner? Are you actually helping in both the short term and long term for as it pertains to the health and longevity and just baseline happiness within your relationship? Or are you enabling unhealthy patterns and habits that you know are only continuing to persist because of either not speaking up or not leaning in or not taking a step back and letting your partner lean in? So,
and if you find yourself hitting the same barriers, or you find yourself taking the same test over and over and over again, that is a sign. Like you won't pass the you'll keep taking the same test over and over again until you pass it. So you take a step back and evaluate, what are the tests that keep coming up?
Same test,
different
Scantron.
Every time we hit this type of thing. So like, for example, Brianna and I have put furniture together a lot. Between moving from one apartment to the next, from moving from one side of the country to the other, we've moved a lot, and we've moved a lot of furniture, and we put a lot of furniture together and took a lot of furniture apart. Our tests, every time it was time to move or put furniture together, especially that IKEA furniture, there was times we were trying to put together a table of some sort, or a desk, a dresser, whatever, and it would be like pulling teeth because we didn't communicate effectively. We didn't problem solve as effectively as we could have because we were bumping heads because we weren't listening to each other. One was trying to lead, well, actually two people were trying to lead at the same time, and nobody was trying to follow.
No patience from my
end. There was
end.
no patience. There was no empathy. There was no flow. There's no collaboration. So now it's gotten way better. But the process, it takes both parties involved within the marriage context, where all of it put control at the center of it. One person has to release control and the other person has to assume control. And that has to happen at the same time. Because if one person who's typically in control won't let go of control, and the other person is trying to take control, conflict. If the controller releases control, and then the other person never assumes control, then everything is out of control. Huh?
Conflict.
Huh? So it must happen simultaneously. As one releases control, the other one assumes control, and then you keep going. And then it's a back and forth, like a tennis match.
Where it's never 50-50.
Where it's not 50-50, but it's proportional to the circumstances and to the capacities between both people.
Yeah. That's a bar. Dr. Dixon. Well, there you have it. If y'all have any questions or if this was helpful, please be sure to drop it in the comments section. And if you enjoyed this video, please, oh please, like and subscribe, and we will see y'all tomorrow.
Go to therapy and go talk to Jesus about some things.
Holla, and talk to your partner too.
Both of y'all go, do the thing.
Do the thing. All right, bye.